Hello students, I am Lalita as Humraskar, economics teacher, BYK College of Commerce welcomes you in online expert lecture series organized by BYK College of Commerce for class 12. Today I am going to discuss with you important concepts related to your syllabus. Today I am going to cover chapter number 3b, elasticity of demand, chapter number 4, supply analysis, and chapter number 5, forms of market. Let us see chapter number 3b, elasticity of demand. What is elasticity of demand? All you studied in chapter number 3. What is law of demand? What is law of demand? What is the statement of the law of demand? Other things remaining constant. When price falls, demand rises, and when price rises, demand falls. Okay, but what happened in reality? In reality, even by keeping other things constant, when price rises, demand also rises and falls, and when price falls, demand also falls and rises. So that difference in demand is known as elasticity of demand. So what is the definition of elasticity of demand? Elasticity of demand means responsiveness of commodity demanded to change in determinants. Now, what are determinants here? Here determinants are number 1, change in price, number 2, change in income of the consumer, and number 3, change in prices of substitute goods and complementary goods. So on the basis of these three determinants, elasticity of demand is classified into three types. Number 1, price elasticity of demand. Number 2, income elasticity of demand. And number 3, cross elasticity of demand. So there are three types of elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand, and cross elasticity of demand. Now let us see classification of elasticity of demand. Elasticity of demand is classified into three types. Number 1, price elasticity of demand. Number 2, income elasticity of demand. And number 3, cross elasticity of demand. There are 5 types of price elasticity of demand. Number 1, perfectly elastic demand. Number 2, perfectly inelastic demand. Number 3, unitary elastic demand. Number 4, relatively elastic demand. And number 5, relatively inelastic demand. Now there are three types of income elasticity of demand. Positive income elasticity of demand. Number 2, negative income elasticity of demand. And number 3, zero income elasticity of demand. So positive income elasticity of demand is again divided into three subtypes. Number 1, greater than 1. Number 2, less than 1, and number 3, equal to 1. Now let us see cross elasticity of demand. There are three types of cross elasticity of demand. Positive cross elasticity of demand. Number 2, negative cross elasticity of demand. And number 3, zero cross elasticity of demand. So positive cross elasticity of demand is classified into three types: greater than 1, less than 1, and equal to 1. But you have to study only price elasticity of demand in detail. Okay, in your syllabus, types of income elasticity of demand, this part is deleted, and types of cross elasticity of demand, this part is also deleted. Now let us see what is elasticity of demand. All of you know what is elasticity of demand. It is a responsiveness of commodity demanded to change in determinants. Now what is formula to calculate elasticity of demand? That is ED is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in determinants. Okay, so ED here stands here elasticity of demand. And what are percentage change in determinants here? Change in price, change in income of the consumer, and number 3, change in prices of substitute goods and complementary goods. Now let us see first type of elasticity of demand, that is price elasticity of demand. Let us see the definition of price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand means responsiveness of quantity demanded to change in price of commodity. Now let us see how to calculate price elasticity of demand, and here formula is given, and here formula is EP is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. So EP stands here price elasticity of demand. Now let us see how to show symbolically that is EP is equal to delta Q upon Q into 100 divided by delta P upon P into 100. So Q stands here original quantity demanded, delta Q stands here change in quantity demanded, P stands here original price, and delta P stands here change in price. Okay, so what is the first step? EP is equal to delta Q upon Q into 100 divided by delta P upon P into 100. So what happened in next step? Delta Q upon Q into 100 into P upon delta P into 1 upon 100. So 100 get cancelled. Then what is remain? That is EP is equal to delta Q upon delta P into P upon Q. So this is price elasticity of demand. Now let us see next type of elasticity of demand, that is income elasticity of demand. Now what is the definition of income elasticity of demand? It is a responsiveness of quantity demanded to change in income of the consumer. Now let us see formula to calculate income elasticity of demand. So here formula is given, that is EY is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in income. So EY stands here income elasticity of demand. Now let us see symbolically how to show income elasticity of demand, how to find out income elasticity of demand. EY is equal to delta Q upon Q into 100 divided by delta Y upon Y into 100. Okay, what is Q here? Q is here original quantity demanded, delta Q is change in quantity demanded, Y stands for original income, and delta Y stands here change in income of the consumer. So EY is equal to delta Q upon Q into 100 divided by delta Y upon Y into 100. So what happened in next step? Delta Q upon Q into 100 into Y upon delta Y into 1 upon 100. 100 get cancelled. Then what is remain? EY is equal to delta Q upon delta Y into Y upon Q, that is income elasticity of demand. Now let us see next type of elasticity of demand, that is cross elasticity of demand. Let us see the definition of cross elasticity of demand. It is a responsiveness of quantity demanded of commodity X to change in price of commodity Y. Now let us see the formula to calculate cross elasticity of demand, and here formula is given, that is EC is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded of commodity X divided by percentage change in price of commodity Y. So here EC stands for cross elasticity of demand. Let us see how to show symbolically, how to find out cross elasticity of demand symbolically. That is EC is equal to delta QX upon QX into 100 divided by delta PY upon PY into 100. So QX here stands here quantity demanded for commodity X, original quantity demanded for commodity X, and delta QX stands here change in quantity demanded for commodity X. PY stands here price of commodity Y, and delta PY stands here change in price of commodity Y. So EC is equal to delta QX upon QX into 100 divided by delta PY upon PY into 100. So what is the next step? EC is equal to delta QX upon QX into 100 into PY upon delta PY into 1 upon 100. So 100 get cancelled. Then what is remain here? EC is equal to delta QX upon delta PY into PY upon QX. That is cross elasticity of demand. Now let us see types of price elasticity of demand. There are 5 types of price elasticity of demand. Number 1, perfectly elastic demand. Number 2, perfectly inelastic demand. Number 3, unitary elastic demand. Number 4, relatively elastic demand. And number 5, relatively inelastic demand. Now let us see these different types of price elasticity of demand one by one. First type is perfectly elastic demand. Let us see this diagram. On y-axis we measure price, and on x-axis we measure quantity demanded. So what happened in this diagram? At given price OP, quantity demanded goes on rising infinitely. Okay, so here numeric coefficient in perfectly elastic demand is ED is equal to infinite sine. And what about the shape of the demand curve? Shape of the demand curve is a horizontal to x-axis. Now let us see second type of price elasticity of demand, that is perfectly inelastic demand. Look at the diagram. On y-axis we measure price and on x-axis we measure quantity demanded. At price OP, quantity demanded remain constant, that is DD. Okay, when price rises from OP to OP1, quantity demanded again remain constant. When price falls from OP to OP2, quantity demanded remain constant. So here numeric coefficient in this type is ED is equal to 0. And what about the shape of the demand curve? Shape of the demand curve is a vertical and parallel to y-axis. Now let us see the next type of price elasticity of demand, that is unitary elastic demand. At price OP, quantity demanded is OQ. When price falls from OP to OP1, quantity demanded rises from OQ to OQ1, that is in the same proportion. So here demand curve slopes downward from left to right. Okay, and shape of the demand curve here rectangular hyperbola, and numeric coefficient in unitary elastic demand is ED is equal to 1. Now let us see next type of price elasticity of demand, that is relatively elastic demand. So at price OP, quantity demanded is OQ. When price falls from OP to OP1, quantity demanded rises from OQ to OQ1. Okay, so quantity demanded is greater than change in price of the commodity. So what happened in the shape of the demand curve in case of relatively elastic demand, that is here shape of the demand curve, here demand curve slopes downward from left to right, and shape of the demand curve is a flatter, and numeric coefficient in relatively elastic demand is here elasticity is greater than 1. Now let us see the next type, that is number 5, that is relatively inelastic demand. What happened in this diagram? At price OP, quantity demanded is OQ. When price falls from OP to OP1, quantity demanded rises from OQ to OQ1 but in less proportion. So what happened to shape of the demand curve? Shape of the demand curve here is steeper. And what about the numeric coefficient? Numeric coefficient, that is elasticity of demand, is less than 1. So these are the 5 types of price elasticity of demand. Now very important topic in this chapter is methods of measuring price elasticity of demand. How to measure price elasticity of demand? There are 3 methods. Number 1 is ratio method, that is also known as percentage method, that is also known as arithmetic method. Second method, total expenditure method, that is also known as total outlay method. And number 3, point method, that is also known as geometric method. Now let us see what kind of questions possible in the exam. Here question is given, explain any 2 methods of measuring price elasticity of demand. This is essay type question for 8 marks. So how to write down answer? What points should come in your answer? Let us see. Number 1 is introduction. Okay, that is very important here. Number 2, explanation of any 2 methods with their schedule, example and diagrams. Now let us see next essay type question for 8 marks question. What is elasticity of demand, and explain types of elasticity of demand. Okay, what point should come in the answer? Number 1, introduction. Number 2, definition of elasticity of demand and formula. Number 3, draw chart showing classification of elasticity of demand. Number 4, explain price elasticity, income elasticity and cross elasticity with reference to their definition, formula, and also explain symbolically. Okay, many times such question asked in the board exam. Let us see next question. What is price elasticity of demand, and explain its types. Read question carefully. Okay, so what point should come in your answer? Number 1 is introduction. Number 2, definition of price elasticity of demand. Number 3, formula of price elasticity of demand and also show symbolically. Number 4, explain all types of price elasticity of demand with reference to their definitions, formulae, numeric coefficient, diagram and shape of the demand curve, and examples found in reality. Now let us see the next chapter, chapter number 4, that is supply analysis. So what kind of question is possible related to supply analysis? Let us see. This is essay type question. State and explain law of supply with its assumptions. Let us see how to write down the answer. Introduction is must here. Number 2, statement of the law. Number 3, schedule and its explanation. Number 4, diagram and its explanation. Number 5, explanation of assumptions in detail. And finally, you have to write only the names of exceptions. So this is 8 marks question. Let us see the next question for 8 marks. This is essay type question again. And here question is given, state and explain law of supply with its exception. Let us see what point should come in your answer. Number 1 is introduction. Number 2, statement of the law. Number 3, schedule and its explanation. Number 4, diagram and its explanation. Number 5, exceptions in detail that you have to explain. Okay, and finally, very important point is write only names of assumptions. Now let us see next chapter, chapter number 5, that is forms of market. Let us see the definition of market. What is market? According to Augustine Cournot, economists understand the terms market not any particular marketplace in which things are bought and sold, but the whole of any region in which buyers and sellers are in such a close contact with one another that the prices of the same goods tends to be equality easily and quickly. Okay, so that is a definition of market. Thus, market is a network of dealing between potential buyers and potential sellers. At any point of time, a market will exist if there are number 1, buyers and seller, very important point in market. Number 2, a product or service to be bought and sold. Number 3, price of the product. Number 4, close contact between buyers and sellers. And number 5, knowledge about the market. Now let us see the classification of market. Market is classified on the basis of place, time and competition. On the basis of place, there are 3 types of market: local market, national market and international market. On the basis of time, there are 4 types of market. Number 1, very short period market. Number 2, short period market. Number 3, long period market and very long period market. On the basis of competition, number 1 is perfect competition and number 2, imperfect competition. Imperfect competition is divided into 3: monopoly market, oligopoly market and monopolistic competition. Okay, so this is a classification of market. Now let us see very important topic in this chapter, price determination under perfect competition. All of you know what is perfect competition. What is the definition of perfect competition? The perfect competition is that form of market where large number of buyers and sellers come in close contact, okay, and there is free entry and exit of the firm and there is homogeneity of product. Okay, that is a perfect competition. Let us explain price determination under perfect competition. Here one table is given. In first column, price of commodity X per kg is given. In second column, quantity of commodity X demanded in kilograms given. And in third column, quantity of commodity X supplied in kilograms given. Okay, let us see. When price is rupees 20, quantity of commodity X demanded is 10 kilograms. Okay, and what about the supplied in kilogram? That is 40 kilograms. So here demand is not equal to supply. So there is disequilibrium in the market. So there is a downward pressure on the price to come down. Now let us see, when price is 5, quantity demanded is 60 kilogram and quantity supplied is 10 kilogram. Again here demand is not equal to supply. So there is a upward pressure on the price. But when price is rupees 10, quantity demanded is 30 kilogram and quantity supplied is 30 kilogram. So here quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. So how price is determined under perfect competition? That is the intersection of quantity demanded and quantity supplied. So at rupees 10 is a equilibrium price, okay, where quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. Now let us see equilibrium price, how equilibrium price exists in the market. Let us see at price OP1, demand is here P1A and supply is P1B. So here supply is greater than demand. At price OP2, demand is P2C and supply is P2C and demand is P2D. So here demand is greater than supply. So OP1 price and OP2 price not possible in the market. Okay, so but at price OP, okay, demand intersects, there is an intersection between demand and supply at point E. So in this perfect competition, price is determined by total market demand and total market supply. So which one is the equilibrium price here? Equilibrium price is here OP. So what kind of shape of demand faced by the perfect competition? That is, the shape of the demand curve is here parallel to x-axis, horizontal and parallel to x-axis. And which price is here? Equilibrium price or uniform price? That is price OP. Okay, that is equal to price EQ. Now what kind of question is possible here related to price determination under perfect competition? All of you know what is perfect competition and how price is determined. Price is determined by total market demand and total market supply. Now let us see what is a question given here. What is perfect competition? Explain price determination under perfect competition. Let us see how to write down the answer. Number 1, introduction. Number 2, definition of perfect competition. And number 3, explanation of price determination with the help of schedule and diagram. So student, what I discussed with you today, I cover 3 chapters. Chapter number 3B, chapter number 4, that is supply analysis, and chapter number 5, forms of market. And finally, thank you for listening my video lecture.